You think some Christian counselor coach is going to have this conversation with you? You think your CSAT therapist is going to talk? They're not going to talk to you about this shit. That's the reason why brothers are struggling with this shit for 20, 30 years.
Love you guys. I'm JK, your brother in the struggle.
Next question is from: Is it okay to be non committal while dating? I feel like I'm coming into my own as a confident man, and I want to see what dating is like with my growing confidence. I don't want to settle for the first woman who has come along and expressed interest in me. I like her enough to keep seeing her, but I'd also like to date others and see what's out there. I have shame of being non committal because I know it's somewhat of a stereotype for fuckboys these days. But I have fears of committing when perhaps there's a better connection for me out there. So here's the deal. First of all, Max, if you want to improve your dating life, and this goes for everybody, as a rebooter, you need to be a part of the dating reboot program. I'm always happy to talk about dating, and I am going to answer your question. But if you seriously want to change your life in that area, deal with a lot of your nice guy tendencies, and understand and have the skill sets to attract the type of women you want into your life consistently, you do need a system. That's what the dating reboot program is for. But let me answer your question. Says, I don't want to feel non committal. Who else feels like, man, I'd love to date, but I don't want to be seen as a fuck boy. I don't want to be seen as a player, right? I don't want to hurt a girl's feeling. I don't want to use a girl, right? I know I'm not using her, but but I just don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel like that kind of guy. Okay. I'll tell you where that comes from. That's your nice guy tendency. What does that mean? It means that you have been conditioned to date a girl and commit to her. I don't think there's anything wrong with commitment. I'm in a committed relationship and I've been in a committed relationship for 15 years. I'm very happy with it. But at the same time, I didn't commit randomly. It wasn't a random act of commitment. And I also didn't commit because my conditioning told me to do. I also didn't commit because it was the right thing to do. I committed because I wanted to at that point, and I had enough data to know that this was somebody that was worth committing to. It wasn't just an emotional decision. I already knew I cared for this person. But a lot of men have been conditioned to say if you feel a certain way about somebody and you've spent time with this person and there's attraction, then you should commit because it's the right thing to do. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't talk about that person's potential in your future. It doesn't talk about whether you guys are actually a rational good fit. Y'all could be a great fit, like emotionally, like, oh, we love each other, we care for each other, we're attracted to each other. It doesn't talk about any of the logical aspects of this. It doesn't talk about whether this person fits into your goals or values. It doesn't talk about whether this person understands your past with pornography, understands your past trauma, and is actually okay with that. It doesn't talk about that woman's past, her issues, her trauma, and whether that's something you want. It talks about none of those things. It talks about emotion. And if you're with one woman and you're having sex with her, do the right thing and commit. Because if you do anything else, you're a bad man, you're cheating on her, you're a player, you're using her, and so on and so forth. And this is the reason why so many men get divorce raped in courts, why they have half their shit taken from them, why they lose their kids, why marriages are lasting like 7 years, why 70%, excuse me, of divorces are initiated by the female partner. Because men are thinking with their dicks and with their emotions and not using the rational, logical brain that God blessed you with to put themselves through relationships. So, said, is it okay to be non committal while dating? That's because you're calling it non committal. Your non committal sounds very irresponsible. He's a pretty non committal guy. It sounds like, man, this guy's not committed. No, bro. You know you are committed. You're committed to yourself. What's the definition of commitment? Doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the emotion when you said you were going to do that thing has passed. What's the commitment that you have made to yourself about your dating reboot? What is your definition of dating as a rebooter, as a man who struggled with an out of control sexual behavior, as a man who has not prioritized intimacy with women? What is it? You have to define it. If you haven't, you should be into dating reboot because that's the first thing we're going to do. What are your fucking dating goals? Let's say, for instance, you decide that your commitment to yourself is I commit that I'm not going to get into a relationship till I have gained some control over my behavior and I have had enough experiences to not be curious about any sexual act outside of a committed relationship. Because you're like, I want to be in a committed relationship. Ultimately, most of us actually do, right? I want to be in a committed relationship, but I don't want to be in a committed relationship where I'm like, oh, what's it like to be with that girl? What's it like to be with that girl? What's it like to be with this person and this person? Am I in control of my behavior? Am I going to cheat on my partner? You don't want to be in that relationship. I'm saying this hypothetically. So if you're just like, well, I don't want to be that kind of man, then you must be committed to yourself. You have to tell yourself, this is what you're going to do. But you also have to tell yourself that you're going to tell this to the women that you're with. You're not non-committal. You're committed to yourself. You're committed to your reboot. You're committed to becoming a better man. And tell the woman this. You don't need to give her all the reasons, but you can just tell her, instead of calling yourself fucking non-committal, you just tell her, like, if she's like, yeah, so where's this headed? Are we dating or what? Be very honest. I've been going through some things in my life, and I'm in a season of my life where I am working on myself, right? Let's just say for now that if we were to get into a relationship, I would probably not be the best partner for you. But right now, I enjoy what we have going on, and I really hope that perhaps you could be the person that I'm with when I work through this. But in the meantime, I'm seeing people, I'm dating, I'm just seeing what's out there while I'm working on myself. They have to know that you are working on yourself, but you cannot call yourself non committal when you are committed to you. Brothers are so concerned with committing to the woman. I want to commit to the woman. I want to commit to the woman. But you ain't even committed to yourself. You're not even committed. You don't even know what you want in dating. You're like, well, I'm just going out there meeting women. What the fuck do you want, though? Well, I would like to have a wife and this. What's the criteria? Who do you have to be with that woman? Who do you have to become to attract that caliber of woman? Have you thought about that? No, you haven't. So of course you're out there being non-committal because you haven't fucking committed to yourself. The last piece of this is the stereotype of the fuck boy. Okay, you guys are so worried when you're a nice guy. You know your biggest fear. Your biggest fear is your self-image. You are so busy seeking approval from women. Like it's so important for your ego and your self-image to be seen as a good person. You want mom and dad, because mom and dad raised you to be a certain way. Church raised you to be a certain way. Your religion raised you to be a certain way. To be a gentleman, to be a man who is nice to women, to treat women, blah, 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 blah. Nothing wrong with those things. But my point is, you're seeking validation for it, right? You don't want to be seen as a player. You were told players are bad, are bad. But you know what got you here? Let's talk about the reality. As much as you want to be a nice guy, gentleman who doesn't play around with women, what does your actual behavior say about you? Your actual behavior, let's be real about this, brothers, says that you want to have sex with many women in different varieties. That's how you ended up watching me today on this screen, because of the reality of what you want. And before you end this behavior, make no mistake, you must make peace with that part of yourself. You must sit down and you must talk to yourself and understand yourself. What do I want to be? Who do I want to be? You must acknowledge your desire for other women in order to be a true rebooter. You cannot run away from it. You cannot run to behind your religion. Some of you guys will try to do that. Oh no, you know what? Because I'm a Christian, I'm only going to date women. I don't give a fuck if you're a Christian. I give a fuck about the reality of your behavior. You could be a pastor like many of the brothers in the intensive. I don't care what you are. If you're watching pornography compulsively, that is your reality. And that's where we're going to stay at. We're going to deal with the reality. If you keep rejecting your reality, if you keep rejecting the fact that, man, I want to be with other women, but I don't want to call myself a fuckboy, you will keep experiencing shame every time you slip and relapse. Every single time you slip and relapse, you're going to feel bad. Why? Because your identity is the identity of a gentleman, a good man. a man who is not a fuckboy and play around with women. But your behavior with pornography is that of a fuckboy. And then you see fuckboys and you're like, they're bad. You're not incongruent. Your whole fucking internal value system is a lie. You're full of shit. These are the things that I had to address before I rebooted. Let me ask you this. You think some Christian counselor coach is going to have this conversation with you? You think your CSAT therapist is going to talk? They're not going to talk to you about this shit. That's the reason why brothers are struggling with this shit for 20, 30 years. That's the reason why you don't see people actually rebooting, because nobody is telling you the truth. When people say the truth will set you free, when the good book says that, this is the truth. If you're with me, give me a like.
Whenever you're ready, here are 4 ways that Porn Reboot can help you out for free. The first way is to subscribe to our channel and make sure that you click on the notification bell to get a new video every other day. The second way is to actually get a free copy of my book, Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men, where you'll learn about my personal struggle and the lessons I learned over the past 14 years, as well as get strategies for putting together your own personalized reboot plan and ending your compulsive behavior with pornography or masturbation. So click on the link in the description below this video to get the free ebook. And thirdly, if you're not sure where you'd like to start, but you'd like to learn more about my team and I, or you'd like to spend time with more like-minded professionals like entrepreneurs, business owners, men who work in sales or consulting or high-level jobs, men who are controlling their behavior, then join our free and confidential group, the Porn Reboot group on Facebook. There's also a link to join the group in the description below this video. And finally, if you need our help right now because you have a burning issue, it's an emergency, your behavior with pornography is hurting you mentally, you're about to lose your relationship and you want to live up to your potential or be an authentic man and free yourself from shame, guilt, and underachieving, then click on the link in the description below this video that actually says free coaching call, or visit elevatedrecovery.org and click on the link which says book a call.